that fans they're voting with their money, their pocketbooks right now. That they're not entertained by this brand of basketball. Sophie Cunningham, guys, she was the light of our life tonight. She went absolutely berserk, particularly in the fourth quarter. I do want to bring this up. When Brittany Sykes got hurt,
nobody saw this coming. Not the coaches, not the analysts, not even the loudest critics who spent months insisting Caitlin Clark's game wouldn't translate to the WNBA. Because right now, the narrative is collapsing in real time. The Indiana Fever are winning. Caitlin Clark just delivered another dominant performance. She's been named Player of the Week. And suddenly, the same voices that were questioning everything have gone noticeably quiet. But that's not even the most surprising part. Because what happened after the game changed the entire conversation again. For weeks, the debate had been simple on the surface but chaotic underneath. Was Caitlin Clark the problem? Or was the system around her holding everything back? Every game added fuel. Every highlight created a new argument. Every argument turned into another headline. And every headline kept the controversy alive. Then came the performance that no one could easily dismiss. A night where everything looked different. A night where the offense clicked, the spacing worked, and Indiana played with confidence that had been missing before. It didn't just feel like a win. It felt like a turning point. But while fans were still processing what they had just watched, social media picked up on something else. Something subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. The energy around the Fever had shifted. The body language looked different. The reactions on the bench told a story that didn't need commentary. And suddenly, the debate wasn't just about talent anymore. It was about identity. Because when a team starts winning in a way people didn't expect, the questions don't stop, they multiply. Was this the breakthrough everyone had been waiting for? Or just another chapter in a season that refuses to settle into a clear storyline? One thing, however, became undeniable. The Fever weren't just part of the conversation anymore. They were driving it.
When Caitlin Clark has that basketball in her hand, the best player in the league, the best point guard in the league, hands down, it ain't close, it ain't nothing to talk about. Caitlin Clark with another double-double, 21 points, 14 assists, as she did her part to secure a victory for the Indiana Fever. She also contributed 5 rebounds, but the shooting was awful. And I'm going to be real, Caitlin, mama, I need you to make shots. I need you to make shots. Caitlin Clark didn't hit her first 3 until late in the fourth quarter. She was 1 of 8 from 3, 5 of 15 from the floor. Okay, off shooting nights happen. She shot nearly 50% last week, nearly 40% from 3, while she became Player of the Week. But hey, man, we got high expectations. I need Cece to make shots. But this was still a quality game. We're going to get into the
21 points, 14 assists, total control. The kind of stat line that doesn't just fill a box score. It changes the temperature of an entire conversation. Because this wasn't just another win. It wasn't just another solid night. And it definitely wasn't just another highlight reel performance. This felt like evidence. Evidence that the version of the Indiana Fever people have been waiting for might finally be arriving. And that's why the reaction has been so intense. Because the moment Caitlin Clark started operating with real freedom, everything shifted. The offense opened up. The pace accelerated. The decision-making sharpened. The entire flow of the game looked different. And most importantly, the team looked comfortable for the first time in a long time. The same group that looked fragmented and inconsistent just weeks ago suddenly looked organized, connected, dangerous, very dangerous. Clark wasn't forcing anything. She was reading everything, running the floor like it was unfolding in slow motion, finding shooters in rhythm, breaking down defenses before they could even set, and turning possessions that used to stall into easy points. That's what made this performance feel different. Not the scoring. Not even the assists, but the control. Because when a player dictates the entire structure of a game without forcing it, the team around them starts to change too. And that's exactly what fans are noticing right now. The Fever don't just look like they're improving. They look like they're starting to figure something out. Something that could change the direction of their entire season. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment everything finally clicks.
No, she ended the game the other day shooting the lights out from 3. She shot the lights out from 3 in this game. And this is how last year started. When Sophie Cunningham went on about a 6-week tear that absolutely contributed to this team somehow, some way making the playoffs last year. It was Sophie Cunningham. If you go back and look at her three-point shooting last year for about 6 weeks, she went bananas. Well, it looks like we're starting that all over again. By the way, let's just keep it real. I brought it up during this game. I posted it early on. Until Sophie went absolutely bananas with three-pointers tonight, this crowd was dead. This crowd was not fired up in the least bit. Here we go. Caitlin Clark right here, splitting the D. Let's check it out. Let's check it out right there to Monique Billings. And look, Caitlin Clark had 14 assists tonight. You know, at one point I thought Caitlin Clark had a chance to get 20 assists tonight. No kidding. Can we have an uncomfortable conversation about the fact that it's time for Sophie to start over Lexi Hull? There, I said it. I said it out loud. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I said it. Sophie Cunningham. Let's check it. Let's check it right here. Caitlin out to Sophie. One side step. Boom. Knocked it down. Beautiful. And she would just keep knocking them down. Let's go.
On the layup. Fever with
Caitlin again to Sophie. Boom. Knocked it down again. Sophie was on a tear, and she showed it right here.
That's where Sophie Cunningham quietly became part of the story. Because every winning streak does more than just add games to the record. It changes the atmosphere inside the locker room. Confidence starts building. Movements get sharper. Shots start falling with less hesitation. And suddenly, everything feels lighter. Fans immediately picked up on it. They started talking about the energy around the team, the chemistry, the trust, the belief, and whether the Indiana Fever were finally becoming the version of themselves everyone expected before the season even tipped off. At the same time, another layer was forming behind the scenes. A name like Ember Cox started circulating in conversations where it usually doesn't, because executives notice momentum. They notice when a team starts winning in a different way. And most importantly, they notice when one player begins to reshape an entire franchise's direction. That's when the discussion shifted again. Fans stopped debating just results and started asking something bigger. How much of this transformation is actually tied to Caitlin Clark's style of basketball? And more importantly, is this what the system was supposed to look like all along? Supporters say the answer is becoming harder to deny with every game. Because now the Fever aren't just winning. They're controlling games. The offense is flowing instead of grinding. The crowd is fully engaged from start to finish. And every possession feels like it has a purpose. Something has clearly changed. And the rest of the league is starting to feel it too.
On social media, not who made the damn half-court shot, because this Indiana Fever team misses entirely too many layups. Caitlin Clark could have had 20 assists today if people made layups. Aaliyah Boston smoked the layup. Lexi Hall smoked the layup. Sophie Cunningham smoking layups. I mean, people smoking layups. Michaela Timpson smoking layups. Like, the layup thing is getting very, very ridiculous. Straight up, it's getting very, very ridiculous, man. We got to get into Sophie Cunningham. Blonde Bomber. Sophie Cunningham is still on fire from Connecticut, guys. Sophie Cunningham got on a heater in Connecticut, went on an 11-0 run to close out the Connecticut Sun, and she stayed on that heater today off the bench in 24 minutes. Sophie Cunningham was 8 of 11 from the floor, 6 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. She had 6 rebounds and poured in 24 points off the bench. Sophie was on fire. She didn't miss her first shot until like damn near fourth quarter. Sophie Cunningham was on fire. Defense on point, making every three damn near. Sophie Cunningham is definitely providing that spark in that punch off the bench offensively that the Indiana Fever need. Because let's be real, Raven Johnson can't score off the bench. Maisha Hines-Allen isn't a scorer off the bench. Michaela Timpson can't score off the bench. We don't have no bench scoring. So it's like if Sophie Cunningham does not score for us off the bench, we're not getting points off the bench, guys. That's just the reality of the situation with this Indiana Fever roster. Now, Maisha Hines-Allen went out. She got hit in the face. Blood was everywhere. I thought the refs was absolute garbage. They was dog crap in this game. Maisha Hines-Allen gets hit in the face. Blood everywhere. No whistle. Caitlin Clark getting hit. First 3 drives of the game. No fouls, no whistles. The refs, I thought y'all was supposed to be better. I thought y'all was supposed to call more fouls, bro. This is kind of crazy. The refs was trash. Caitlin Clark is getting fouled nonstop. You know, Caitlin Clark, you got to make your free throws. You missed 4 free throws today. I don't know what happened. But that does not need to happen again. But the Indiana Fever took care of business. Marina Mabry did try to go on a flurry in the second and third quarter. I think she had 11 in the second quarter. She finished the game with...
The numbers are climbing. The energy is shifting. An entire conversation around the Fever is changing fast. The unsettling part for the rest of the league? Many fans believe this is only the beginning. Because if Caitlin Clark is already putting up performances like this in a still developing system, what happens when everything clicks? When the timing sharpens? When the chemistry fully locks in? When the offense stops just working and starts flowing? That's the question hanging over every rival locker room right now. Not what she's doing today, but what she's about to do next. Because if this version of Indiana is real, the rest of the league isn't just watching a breakout. They're watching a problem forming in real time. And that's why the reaction feels different now. It's not surprise anymore. It's realization. She isn't just succeeding. She's succeeding in the exact way critics said she couldn't. And that's why nobody can look away.